Welcome to Ethiopia, a country that will challenge everything you think you know about Africa. Ethiopia is ancient and complex. Addis Ababa is the capital and largest city, a sprawling metropolis. The official language is Amharic, but you'll hear many others. Ethiopia is big, 1.1 million square kilometers of diverse landscapes. From the peaks of the Simien Mountains to the depths of the Danakil Depression. It's all right here in the Horn of Africa. Taste the rich flavors of injera and wat, and stand in awe before the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela. This is a country that challenges you to understand it. Let's dive in. Ethiopia's history isn't just long, it's the stuff of legends. This is a country that claims to be the birthplace of coffee and the final resting place of the Ark of the Covenant. Ethiopia is where our oldest known human ancestor, Lucy, was discovered. Local historian. Fast forward a few million years, and you've got the Kingdom of Aksum, one of the great powers of the ancient world. These guys were trading with Rome and Persia when much of Europe was still figuring out how to build decent roads. Ethiopia is the only African country that was never fully colonized. The Battle of Adwa in 1896 saw Ethiopian forces decisively defeat the invading Italians, securing their independence. It's a source of immense pride for Ethiopians and a pivotal moment in African history. In more recent times, Ethiopia has faced its share of challenges. The reign of Emperor Haile Selassie, the communist Derg regime, civil wars, and famines have all left their mark. But through it all, Ethiopia has endured. Today, it's a country looking to the future while never forgetting its past. If you want to understand Ethiopia, you need to understand its customs and traditions. This isn't a country where culture is something you visit in a museum. It's alive in the streets, in the homes, in every aspect of daily life. Let's start with coffee. In Ethiopia, coffee isn't just a drink, it's a ritual. The traditional coffee ceremony can take hours, involving roasting the beans, grinding them by hand, and brewing the coffee in a special pot called a jabina. It's a social event, a time for conversation and connection. Local resident religion plays a huge role in Ethiopian culture. The majority of the population is Orthodox Christian, but there's also a significant Muslim population, as well as followers of traditional beliefs. This diversity is reflected in the country's many religious festivals. The most famous is Timkat, the Ethiopian Epiphany. It's a riot of color and sound with processions, singing, and dancing that can last for days. Family is at the heart of Ethiopian society. Respect for elders is paramount, and it's common for extended families to live together or in close proximity. Now let's talk about food. Ethiopian cuisine is unlike anything else you've ever tasted. It's bold, it's spicy, and it's absolutely delicious. At the heart of every meal is injera, a spongy flatbread made from teff flour. You tear off pieces of injera and use them to scoop up the various stews and salads that make up a typical Ethiopian meal. Culinary expert. One of the most famous dishes is doro wat, a spicy chicken stew that's often considered the national dish. The key is berbere, a spice blend that gives Ethiopian cuisine its distinctive flavor. For vegetarians, Ethiopia is a paradise. Many Ethiopians follow the Orthodox Christian tradition of fasting from animal products on certain days, so there's a wealth of delicious vegetarian options. Misir wat, a spicy lentil stew, is a personal favorite. Culinary expert. Meals are social events, often lasting for hours. You'll sit around a misab, a traditional woven table, sharing food and conversation. And of course, no meal is complete without Ethiopian coffee. Section 5, Nature's Masterpieces, Ethiopia's Natural Wonders.
Ethiopia's landscapes will take your breath away. This is a country of extremes, where you can find yourself on top of a mountain one day and in one of the hottest places on Earth the next.
Let's start with the Simien Mountains. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is home to some of the most dramatic scenery in Africa. Picture jagged peaks, deep valleys, and sheer cliff faces that drop away into nothingness. It's also home to some unique wildlife, including the Galata baboon, also known as the bleeding heart monkey.
At the other extreme, you have the Danakil Depression. This is one of the lowest, hottest, and most inhospitable places on the planet. The landscape here is otherworldly, with its colorful sulfur springs, salt flats, and active volcanoes.
The Rift Valley lakes offer a more serene beauty. Lake Tana, the source of the Blue Nile, is dotted with ancient monasteries on its islands and peninsulas.
Section 6, Echoes of the Past. Museums and UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Ethiopia's history isn't confined to textbooks, it's etched into the very landscape. The country boasts 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, each telling a different chapter of Ethiopia's story. Let's start with Lalibela, a place that challenges ancient architecture. 11 rock-hewn churches were carved out of solid rock in the 12th and 13th centuries. These aren't traditional buildings, they're sculpted from the top down. Standing in the courtyard of Bet Georgis, you'll feel like you've stepped back in time. Then there's Aksum, the ancient capital of the Aksumite Empire. This place is steeped in mystery and legend. It's said to be the home of the Ark of the Covenant. What you can see are the massive stelae, giant obelisks that have stood for centuries.
In Addis Ababa, the National Museum of Ethiopia offers a journey through the country's past.
Section 7. Nightlife and Activities Experiencing Modern Ethiopia. Ethiopia isn't all about ancient history and traditional culture. The country, especially Addis Ababa, has a vibrant modern side that's worth exploring. From pulsating nightclubs to cutting-edge art galleries, there's plenty to keep you entertained after the sun goes down. Let's start with the music scene. Ethiopian jazz is world-renowned, and for good reason. Clubs like the African Jazz Village and the iconic Gion Hotel are great places to experience this fusion firsthand. For a more traditional experience, check out an Asmari Bet. These are like Ethiopian jazz clubs but with a twist. Asmari are wandering minstrels who improvise songs, often poking fun at the audience. Even if you don't understand Amharic, the wit and skill of these performers is obvious. Section 8. Family fun and retail therapy, entertainment and shopping. Ethiopia might not be the first place that comes to mind for a family vacation, but it has plenty to offer for visitors of all ages. For families, the Unity Park in Addis Ababa is a must-visit. This recently opened attraction is set in the grounds of the old Imperial Palace. It's part zoo, part museum, and part park. Kids will love seeing the lions and cheetahs, while parents can appreciate the beautifully restored palace buildings. Another family-friendly option is a visit to one of Ethiopia's many national parks. Awash National Park, just a few hours' drive from Addis, offers the chance to see wildlife like baboons, gazelles, and a variety of bird species.
When it comes to shopping, the Mercado in Addis Ababa is an experience in itself. It's the largest open-air market in Africa, a sprawling maze of stalls selling everything from spices to electronics. For a more curated shopping experience, check out the boutiques in the Bowl area.
Section 9. Navigating Ethiopia, transportation, accommodation and safety. Getting around Ethiopia can be an adventure in itself. The country's infrastructure is developing rapidly, but travel can still be challenging, especially in rural areas. In Addis Ababa, the light rail system is a convenient way to get around the city. For longer distances, Ethiopian Airlines offers domestic flights to major cities and tourist destinations. The road network is improving, but be prepared for long journeys if you're traveling by bus or car. For a truly unique experience, consider taking the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, a modern electric railway that offers stunning views of the Ethiopian countryside.
When it comes to accommodation, you'll find options to suit every budget. In Addis and other major cities, there are international chain hotels, as well as locally owned boutique options. In more remote areas, lodges and guest houses are common. Safety is always a concern when traveling, but Ethiopia is generally a safe country for tourists. As with any destination, it's important to be aware of your surroundings and take common sense precautions.